And we're back.
Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. That's where you're listening. You are watching on Facebook Live on Facebook.com/live now DT. All of it is inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. CafeKubal.com is where you go for all of your information for their home deliveries, their mobile cafes, as well as their neighborhood cafes, so you can see all that they have to offer on CafeKubal.com. 5 awesome locations in the community, all in Syracuse. The Golisano Children's Hospital, 324 West Water Street is the Creek Walk Commons, their Salina Cafe on 401 South Salina Street, as well as the Eastwood Cafe right around the corner where my grandmother had her house for such a long time on 3501 James Street. I know that one all too well. And the newest location, which you will find on 208 North Townsend Street in Syracuse, the Holly Green Cafe. With all of that being said, I have to do the intro. She just has to sit there and smile. My cousin, Fran Tortora. Fran's going to be with us through the duration of the show. Fran and I will have plenty to talk about. Fran, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So Fran's in the studio today, fresh off of a no big deal commitment to one of the top D1 women's lacrosse programs in all of America. If they're not number one, they're sitting right up there in the top. So we will discuss that commitment right after this, and I got the exclusive. So we'll be having some fun with that in just a little while here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factories. What's poppin'? We have a great show coming up for you today. Obviously, you see Fran there with a wolf. We'll describe that wolf in just a little bit. In case you don't know what it is, you're going to get to know what it is here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Before that, though, we will have Tyrone Perkins on the broadcast. He'll be joining us from Syracuse football history, played defensive back and running back, played on special teams. One of the players that can say he was in all 3 phases of the game, which gives you a very unique look at football through a lens of playing in all different parts of it. So we'll talk with Tyrone Perkins about the importance of each of the phases, as well as what he's up to now, social justice, and sports and coronavirus, all coming up here in just a little bit. And then we will have the ingredients to success to round out the show, proudly presented by Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. So, with all of that being stated, we welcome you here. We hope you're having a fantastic day this morning. And Fran and I are going to talk about a lot of different things going through the show today. We'll speak on her commitment, why she said yes, who she said yes to, and we'll also get into some other things, as well as the shirt that I'm wearing that she likes that she didn't know had a very deeper meaning. So we'll get into a lot of stuff here this morning, but we appreciate you being here and celebrating with us a very, very special day, as Fran has committed verbally for the 2022 class, has committed with 2 years left at CNS, has already said yes to the Stony Brook Seawolves. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. The Wolves said yes to the Wolves. You got to travel with the pack. That's how it is. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. Plenty more coming up on today's show. Fran will be hanging out throughout the broadcast, like I said. And coming up next, we'll have Tyrone Perkins on the show to speak on the football side of things right after this.
It's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carbolite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carbolite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop CafeKubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. You're also watching here on Facebook Live on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, all inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. And coming up first here in Mon Pa's Kettle Corner Popcorn Factories, what's popping is Tyrone Perkins, who played for Syracuse in a very unique sense, got to play defensive back, running back, and on special teams, so he can speak on all three phases, which I think is a very, very cool thing to do. We have Fran in studio here, Fran Tortora, hanging out with us here this morning, and we'll have plenty to talk about with Fran on coming right off of her verbal commitment to Stony Brook, and she'll be joining us here for the interview with Tyrone. Tyrone, how you doing today?
Good, Dan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man, and it's been a minute. I mean, you and I spoke while you were at Syracuse, I think, as you were coming into Syracuse. So, you know, what's life been like for you following football, and just what have you been up to lately?
Well, as you know, my career ended with a pretty bad injury, so I had to do a lot of physical therapy to get back on my feet. And, you know, I've just been trying to, you know, get used to the real world, as they like to say. Just trying to get my feet wet, you know, with jobs and stuff like that. So just trying to get acclimated in the real world.
And so for you kind of going through everything you've gone through, and good morning to Mom over there, but, you know, with everything that you've had to go through, what can you tell me about battling through that, about, you know, having a strong mind and a strong will? Because, I mean, you have to have all of that to do what you've done and to go through what you've done.
Well, yeah, so as you know, coming into Syracuse, I also tore my ACL my senior year of high school, so I kind of knew what to expect the second time around, even though it was a lot worse. I just went into it with a positive mindset, and I had a lot of support around me that made it a lot easier. Yeah, it's just, you know, knowing what I needed to do, understanding that it wasn't going to be easy, and just, you know, putting my chin in my chest and just working, you know, as every coach I've ever had always said.
So for you, speaking here at Tyrone Perkins, played defensive back and running back at Syracuse, to go through that and, you know, something that you really, you know, can't control. I mean, injuries happen, things happen. You can, you know, get your body as prepared as you wanted to get it prepared, but ultimately, at the end of the day, sometimes things just happen. How have you been able to, you know, kind of live with that and live through that? Because the game is something, I talk about it here on the show all the time with a lot of these kids in central and upstate New York want to play, and they haven't been able to. They moved the football season to March instead of having it here in the fall, and I had brought up the statement of no matter what sport it is, when you start playing a sport, the hourglass flips, and it never flips back. So when sometimes that hourglass goes out of that sand a little bit quicker, how have you been able to come to terms with something like that you couldn't control?
So I was playing DB, and, you know, I moved my way up the depth chart. I think I was Evan Foster's backup around the time, and it was a special teams play, punt return, and I was honestly just trying my hardest because, you know, coaches like to see you give an effort on every single play, no matter what play it is. And, that's how you get on the field. So I'm out there trying my hardest. I'm pretty sure the ball was fair caught. And it was just, a crazy situation where, I just got seriously hurt. And, that's what I would tell everyone who's listening to this is just give every play your all. You hear it throughout your entire career, whether it's practice, a game, whatever it is, just give it 100%. And, you'll be okay with the outcome as long as you gave it your all.
Yeah, coming from Tyrone Perkins, give it all you got while you have the opportunity to give it. Tyrone, for you, when you look back on your time at Syracuse, what are some positive memories or relationships that you built there? Even though I know that there was some adversity, what are the positives that you took away from Syracuse?
I took a ton of positives away from Cuse. Just hard work, dedication, going there with, Scott Shafer in my freshman year, things just got off to a rough start. And, we just needed to stick together as a team. And, it took a few years, but we all were dedicated to, one goal. And our senior year, we finally got that bowl game, 10 in preseason. It was, things like that you'll never forget in life. And takes a lot of hard work and dedication and commitment, and that's really all you need to, reach a common goal.
Yeah, and Syracuse has gone through obviously ups and downs, and you being a part of recent history at Syracuse, know that there has been those moments of, there's bowl games, but sometimes few and far between in recent history as opposed to what it looked like in the past. Where can you, when you look back on your time, hindsight is 2020, what overall did you learn from being at Syracuse? You had your own personal adversity, but then you also had the adversity of playing the game and the frustration of not getting to a bowl and then eventually getting there. So what did you learn we talked about your personal level from the overall level and being on a team that obviously nobody's playing to lose. How frustrating was it, to go through some of that, and what did you learn from that adversity when you're working with a unit and trying to work together toward a common goal?
I think the main thing I learned was probably that leadership is extremely important. The year we won the bowl game, we had tremendous leadership on that team, and I know Coach Babers talks about that senior class a ton, and it was just, we made sure things got done the right way. And, going through life, you need leadership in times of adversity to lead you through, and that's exactly what we had. And it's all you need, a good leader, and you'll find your way.
Now, leadership-wise for you, who would you say, were those leaders on that team that got to the bowl game?
I was Dungey, Dante, Chris Slayton, Kendall Coleman, those guys, Antoine Cordy, those guys every day made sure things were done the right way. The entire senior class, honestly. We knew what we wanted, and we were just tired of the same old way of things being done, and we wanted something different, and we made that very clear from day one of that year, and we just committed to it the entire year.
And Tyrone, speaking here of Tyrone Perkins, DB and running back for Syracuse history, we bring up Eric Dungey, and I kind of made it a cautionary tale that people should appreciate him. And when he was a senior, making that very clear that you should love him when you got him and appreciate him when you got him, because I knew that fans were going to go through this. I knew that there was going to be that moment of, remember how Eric Dungey was here and he was really good and we didn't appreciate him? And I said, take the time to take the time and really look at this guy and really look at the fact that he's a dog. If a play broke down, you didn't know. This man would just, do what he had to do to get the yards he had to get. I'm watching the North Carolina game this past weekend, and I'm thinking to myself, if that was Dungey, he breaks that for 40 or 60 yards. If that was Dungey, this is a touchdown, he doesn't get caught. If that was Dungey, he's making this play, he's doing this. So, if this is Dungey, he's getting out of the pocket. It's not any knock to Tommy DeVito by any stretch of the imagination. It's just Dungey's one of those guys that you kind of just, when you have an opportunity to bring somebody like that in, whatever position he's playing, you know that he's a dog. You know he's going to fight. You know he's going to give his all. And Syracuse fans beat the heck out of this guy. And then he leaves after his eligibility is done. And I prognosticated it and said it a year ahead of time, if not sooner, or if not earlier than that, when I said you guys are going to really, really rue the day that he's gone. And as soon as he left, I got people writing into me, God, if Dungey was here, he would have done this. I miss him. What are we going to do? I wish we appreciated him. He's on Mount Rushmore for quarterbacks. How surprised are you that fans, didn't really know what they had until 5 seconds after he left?
Not really surprised. I mean, we love our fans, but we tend to not listen to fans a lot because they often don't really know what they're talking about. But it's not surprising. I mean, they're never going to be happy with what they've got. I feel like there's always going to be a problem with something, or it's always going to be something to complain about. But you're right. You need to cherish what you have at the moment and realize what it is for what it is.
For you, what type of leader did you get from Eric Dungey? What can you say about being there with him in the locker room, in practice, on the field? What can you say about Eric Dungey and appreciating the person that was in front of you?
I mean, I think you could imagine what I'm going to say. You saw the guy play. He's a dog. I mean, what you saw is what you got from Dungey. The way he played is the way he would talk to us on the field. He's a fiery guy. And he just loves to win. He wants to win. He doesn't go out there to lose, and he'll do everything he can to win, whether it's in practice, the film room, on the field. It doesn't matter. He's giving it his all. And I think he showed that his entire career. And, I wish Dungey nothing but the best for him.
And are you surprised, with a guy like Taysom Hill that's in the NFL on the New Orleans Saints who, can pass the ball, they utilize him as a receiver, they have him run, he'll play on special teams. Are you surprised that they can't seem to find a place for Dungey in the NFL when Taysom Hill's game seems I don't want to call them ever the same because I think Dungey stands on his own, but that, a running quarterback that is powerful and capable and can make the pass. Are you surprised that the Saints have a Taysom Hill and then 31 NFL franchises don't look at Dungey and say, wow, we could really benefit from that?
Yeah, it's definitely surprising, especially seeing, the damage Taysom Hill does to the teams. What Dungey's done his entire career, they're pretty much identical. So, it is surprising. And, I just hope Dungey's still out there working and just working for that one shot. And I hope he takes advantage of it when it comes his way.
That coming from Tyrone Perkins, defensive back and running back in Syracuse history. Tyrone, before we speak a little bit more on some of the other things here today, like I said, I have my cousin Fran in the studios. She just committed to one of the top Division I women's lacrosse programs in the entire nation at Stony Brook. I'm sure you're familiar with Stony Brook, being a New Yorker. What can you say? What words of advice would you give to Fran about being a Division I athlete and committing to such a prestigious program?
Well, first I'd like to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Honestly, just be prepared to just work hard. It's a lot of work, between athletics and school. You just need to stay focused and, set your goals and constantly reach for those every single day and just try to become a better person every single day,
Right.
I will tell you, and thank you for that, Tyrone. I would tell you that I would be horrified to be on the other side of Fran. And I think, so Franny said, how much do you weigh now? What is
I
it?
weigh 140.
So Franny weighs 140 and you're deadlifting 315?
Yeah.
So yeah, she's deadlifting 315 at 140 right now.
That's insane.
Yeah, so that's her though. That's her dad. You know, Rocky is the movie in the household, and that's how they practice and that's how they play. So, you know, it's the really funny thing is, you know, you see Fran, she comes up really, you know, smiling nice and all that, and I'm like, I don't, you know, as big brother here, I don't feel like I ever have to do anything. I think she'll kill you before I get there. So.
It's good not to worry.
Yeah, it's good to not have to worry about that. So, So you being in, you know, you said we were talking off the air that you're in Gramercy.
Yes.
So I got to ask you, what are the because I want to know, because I want to come back down there, and Franny will be down there in a couple of years. What are the spots to go when you're down in, you know, your parts of New York City and whatnot? Give me some good spots to go to.
Well, honestly, I just moved here like in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, so I haven't really ventured
Well, then
out.
you don't have to worry about any type of lines or reservations. You should know every place now.
Yeah, but I'm working, man. I just stay inside.
There you go.
But honestly, my favorite spot to go to around here is probably the Smith right now.
The Smith. Okay, what's the Smith?
It's just like a little, you know, dinerish type restaurant, and it's, you know, it reminds me of this place out on Long Island that I always go to. So I just tend to go there if I ever want something. But most of the time, I just cook stuff.
Nice. So, and you said most of the time you're cooking?
Yeah.
All right. So what are you cooking? What are you making? I mean, I think, well, for me, cooking is therapeutic. Fran cooks all the time. So, you know, we're all about. See, we have Italian blood, and so I mean, my blood is Italian, Hispanic, and a little bit of it from the Sudan as well. But the Italian side of it, Franny and I always talk about the ability to, I don't know, you like being challenged in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's fun. So I got to ask you, what are you making at home, and what are your best dishes?
Probably my best dish is I make a mean steak. You know, I eat a lot of steak and chicken.
All right. So mean steak. How do you season it? What do you do?
Just, you know, you got to get a nice piece of meat. You know, and if you get a nice piece of meat, it doesn't need any seasoning. Just a little salt, a little pepper, maybe a little olive oil. Throw it on the grill. You know, let it do its thing. Meat cooks itself.
Fair enough. That coming from Tyrone Perkins here this morning. Tyrone, you have a very unique look at college football in the fact that you got to play in all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. Even though I know it didn't go the way you wanted it to and ended in a adversity kind of, you know, a time to kind of call yourself to rise above it. I know that that's probably made you a better person. I hope it has. And playing all three phases, what can you tell me, number one, about what it's like to see football from all three phases of the game? And how do you feel like you have become a better person from all this?
You know, to be able to see football from all three phases has made me really, really good at Madden.
Really good at Madden, okay. I like that.
But no, yeah, it definitely, you know, coming into college, I just mainly played running back my whole life. But, you know, injuries, you know, things change, and,
yeah,
you know, Coach Babers, I had a really great relationship with Coach Babers throughout my time at Syracuse, which I'm really thankful for. It's like you know, he always says he's our grandfather. You know, I grew up, I didn't have a grandfather, and he really stepped in and filled those shoes for my grandpa. So, you know, we had a really close relationship, a really honest relationship. And, you know, one day he was just, I started off at like a slot back with Shafer, H-back with Shafer. Then Dino came in, I was a slot receiver. And then he was like, hey, go back to running back. I was like, all right. And then I played a little bit that year, and then I think we had some troubles on defense. Some guys left, brought me back into his office. He was like, "Hey, what do you think about playing defense?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I never did it, but I told him he knew I'd do anything for him." So I was like, "Yeah, dude, let's do it." So going to spring practice as safety, I was at 2, and then I think I got hurt in the spring. And I didn't practice the rest of the spring. Yeah, I didn't play in the spring game.
Yeah.
And then I just started, trying to get healthy for the season, try to work my way up the depth chart. And, you just learn a lot. You really learn football playing all 3 phases. You really come to understand the importance of special teams. It's not just a play you can just take off because it can drastically change the momentum of a game. And, from an offense and defensive standpoint, it's just good to know what's going on. I was totally engaged on offense, defense. Like, it was really cool knowing all the plays of the game,
Well, and I think that one of the thing is that you got to play special teams, and, it's not – I don't understand it, but we talk about offense and defense, but we don't talk about special teams enough. And, they're literally responsible for the placement, either good or bad, to start a drive or defend a drive. So are you surprised that still to this day, there isn't that kind of respect for special teams, the conversation of special teams? Andre Schmidt missed a field goal in this game against North Carolina, and you would have thought that he was like the worst person in the world, according to some people. This is a man who is an award-winning kicker. This is a man who brought prosperity back to Syracuse in a big way. This is a guy who hardly misses, and as Dino said it, he said something like this man's like 87%, or something like ridiculously high. And so he got asked the question, did you talk to him after missing the kick? And he goes, yeah, with the percentages he has, I don't really have to go over and say much to him if he misses one because he doesn't miss that often. So, special teams is one of those things where if the long snapper doesn't snap the ball right, we flip, people flip out. If the kicker misses a field goal attempt, you flip out. But when everything else goes as planned, nobody says anything. So, what can you say about the fact that maybe we should talk about special teams when good things happen?
You definitely should. Smith scores a ton of points. But I could see why it's hard to really understand the importance of special teams. Obviously, the field goal team, pretty big and easy to, pick on. But, special teams is just important. It's one of those things that's hard to really explain how it's important, but it's important. Field position matters. And Babers, he always jokes around about kickers because, all they do is just kick all practice and snappers snap. So, honestly, they shouldn't mess up that often, but, it happens. And so that's probably why Coach Babers is not saying anything because Smith, he's the best man.
No, he's really good. In that North Carolina game, the defense, and like we were talking about, you played in all 3 phases, so you got to see it all. The defense, to me, I have no qualms with that. I have nothing to say. Honestly, Josh Black had a sack in the game. Mikel Jones got his first career interception as he stepped in as a starter on the linebacker unit. We saw Andre Cisco be Andre Cisco, get another interception. The first chance he gets, he grabs another one to start off this season. He leads the nation with 13 career interceptions for active players. And then not only that, but, we also saw Kingsley Jonathan get a sack and prevent a touchdown opportunity. This defense really gave it all they had. And you playing on the offensive and defensive side, I'm sure, you could see the fact that after a while, no matter how good you are as a defense, if you're leaning on them the entire game and the offense isn't moving, eventually the defense is going to give up points. So, I don't blame the defense for this game, but what did you see from the offense? Do you blame the defense? What was your overall take from their loss to North Carolina that really was 7-6, 10-6 forever, and then, in the fourth quarter, 31-6, it got away?
I thought the defense was playing tremendously. The offense, we just got to get something going. We got to get momentum, got to get first downs, and, hopefully, I don't want to talk too badly about my team, so just want to keep this pretty positive. But we just got to get momentum, got to get the ball moving, incorporate whoever needs to be incorporated to do so, and just got to get the ball moving. That fast-paced offense can sometimes come back to hurt us. I didn't really think that was the case on Saturday. But, I just think we just got to get the ball moving. There's probably some pregame, first game jitters out there, going against a number 18 ranked opponent. But, I'm not too worried. I think that this weekend we're going to come out firing on all cylinders.
That coming from Tyrone Perkins here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have Fran in the studios here with us. She's going to have plenty to discuss on the show in just a little bit here, sitting in on this conversation with Tyrone, and we will continue here with Tyrone for a few minutes. Here, Syracuse defensive back, running back, alum. Tyrone, for you, outside of everything that's going on in the world of sports, there's been a lot of things that have been going on in the world itself, and dealing with a virus that we've never seen, and maybe you want to call it the flu on steroids, whatever people want to refer to it as, but it has it's obviously it's forced itself into our lives when we maybe didn't focus on it or didn't care about it, or it was overseas and it wasn't here, and then all of a sudden it was. So how have you dealt with the world of coronavirus, and what has it taught you? Because my belief is that we got to come out of this thing better than we went in, and I can say that I have. I can't speak for everybody, but what have you learned from coronavirus?
I think it's really going back to leadership, how leadership is really important. We have a lack of leadership at the top, and it's shown. Everyone, I like to look at life kind of as a sport and me being on a team. So like everything I go into, I like to think it's a team-oriented thing. Yeah. And, everyone needs to find their role on the team and do their part so that we can win. And, people not doing that with this virus is, causing people their lives. And, lack of leadership is causing people their lives, and it's really sad to see.
Yeah, I think one of the tough things here, and I think if we had a team, if you, Fran, and I went into a grocery store and somebody, we had a plan of somebody blocks, somebody runs, and somebody, I don't know what the other person do. So block, run, and then the other person stands at the checkout, that we could get toilet paper. Maybe we could do that together. But, what'd you say?
So we could definitely do that.
But I could tell you that, in the beginning, toilet paper, peanut, that was, and Fran and I talked about it. In Syracuse, for some crazy reason, there was no peanut. And it wasn't just peanut butter. There was no Jif peanut butter. And the commercial says, "Choosy moms choose Jif," and it must be true because all of the peanut. I mean, if you go into Target, the entire Jif area gone. And they left the organic peanut butter, which tastes like dirt, and then they had maybe some Peter Pan. No, there was some Skippy. Skippy was there, but Jif reduced fat. I had to go. There was 4 stores that we had to go to. It took me 2 weeks to get peanut butter, and also Pillsbury pull-apart chocolate chip cookies were gone here in Syracuse. So I don't know what it was like on the island area, but I can honestly tell you that in Syracuse, New York, I can say that not only should Jif sponsor Wake Up Call, but there was no Jif here. There was no Jif going on.
I don't know if there was any Jif. I honestly didn't hit the supermarkets during the virus. My parents moved back in with my parents during that time, during the heat of it, and they did a lot of the shopping for us. But peanut butter is an essential thing you need in your pantry, so I could understand.
We are here with Tyrone Perkins once again, and you're watching on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. You're listening on MixLR.fm. Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com. Tyrone, what can you tell me about what you've seen in this world when it comes to social justice, what you've taken away from what's going on, and where we can go and what we can do from here?
You know, as an African-American male, seeing what's been going on in this country, it's scary, man. You know, it's definitely to the point where, you know, I don't even really put on the news, you know, barring what I could possibly see, you know, just another black man that looks like me just being shot, you know. It's really sad and scary to, you know, live in this time right now. It definitely has changed the way I move throughout the world. I'm so much more cautious of where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm with. And, you know, it's really sad, man. And I just feel that we as people need to just come together and, you know, have these conversations about these difficult topics and, you know, hear both sides and, you know, come to a solution, conclusion, whatever you want to call it. But things need to change, and it needs to happen very quickly.
Yeah, you know, and Tyrone, I mean, I agree with you. And I think that, I mean, I'm not a person to watch the news ever because of the negativity, because of, you know, the constant. I remember watching the news with my grandma one time in her house, and it was like fire, 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 shooting, killing, rape, weather, sports, remember that fire, remember that rape, 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 murder, 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 killing, shooting, this. And then at the end of it, they're running the credits, and they're like, a baby giraffe was born at the zoo. And I'm like, give me some of that during it. Give me some of that. And I said to my grandmother, and I'll never forget my grandmother said this, and I love G-Mama forever, and she will, I always say present because to me she's always with me. I said to her, I said, Grandma, how can you look at that newspaper and watch the television and see nothing but negativity? How can you be positive? And I'll never forget what my grandmother said. She said, what's my alternative? And I think that to me is what we should focus on is, you know, what is the alternative of being, you know, what is the other choice? There is no other choice but to be positive. And in being positive and trying to find a path together, Tyrone, what I don't get is you and I are not the same shade of skin tone, but the last time I checked, we're both human beings. The last time I checked, we both show affection the same way. We smile the same way. We cry the same way. We laugh the same way. You know, we have eyes in the same place, nose in the same place, arms and legs. We look like each other outside of being different colored crayons in the crayon box, so to speak. We're all in the box. So I don't understand why we live in a world in 2020 or ever where somebody who is human and another person who is human that they're taught to hate each other, because hate is taught. And the fact that, you know, people are taught to dislike each other when we all want the same stuff. I know I've had this conversation a million times on the show, but for the life of me, I can't figure out what makes you or I any different from each other.
Literally the color of our skins. That's the only thing. And it's sad that someone's skin color determines how you want to treat them, and, you know, it's just terrible, Dan. I don't know what else to really say about it. It's just awful to think that, you know, the color of my skin is just a threat to, you know, some people.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, you know, if you get to know somebody, you know, I've realized, let me put it to you like this, Tyrone. I'm gonna, and obviously, you know, I've dated a lot of women in my day, and just to make it even more interesting, I'm gonna put myself on screen while I say this. My mom, I feel like, always like shakes her head, like, why are you doing this? So, for those of you that are wondering what's going on, I think either God or Mark Zuckerberg shut me off when I was trying to speak on women on Facebook. So that's okay. we're in this portion of the show where the guest gets to ask me questions. Tyrone Perkins asked me his first question in rapid fire, and that's a question is, what's my favorite food? He said clearly it's Jif peanut butter. Reduced fat Jif is amazing. I'm pretty confident God has it in heaven. So I'm going to say, based off of the conversation that I had with Derek yesterday, I'm going to have to say meatballs, like good homemade sauce and like really good, like meaty, not like the breaded, nasty. Like I want a good, real Italian meatball. You crisp it up a little bit. You know a meatball is good when you put no sauce on it and you can put it right on a stick and it's like eating a miracle. So I'm gonna say good meatball because it's very, very hard to find one.
All right, sounds good.
It's fair.
Second question would have to be, who's your current favorite player on the Syracuse football team?
My current you're gonna get me in trouble now. My current favorite player on Syracuse football. That's really tough. Oh man. Because you know me. I mean, you know that, like, I get to know all you guys. You know, there's like 100 of you on the team, and I do my best to talk to. I remember I was reading through, like, the 2015 or 16 roster, and I had spoken to, I think, everyone but 9 players. Something like that. So I would say that's my favorite player currently on the team. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. There's certain ones that pop up. But I would have to go with... Oh, damn. I mean, a guy that I'm going to defend, just like Dino defended when I asked Dino a question, because Dino went clear on the question that I asked him. I asked him about how he thought Andre Sisco and Kingsley Jonathan and Josh Black and Mikel Jones in the defense did despite the loss. And he's like, the Andre Sisco... That's an All-American but not voted to the All-ACC first team, that's Sisco? And I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, that guy? The guy that, you know, I guess everybody has on their team, everybody's got a Sisco? And he just stared at the camera. And I was like, I know that shade isn't for me. I know that shade is for America, because I voted him all first team. But, I mean, the man leads the country in interceptions. So, if, you know, I would campaign for Sisco, but I would probably tell you that my favorite player, it's a cross between two. And I'm going to say that it's my dude, Chris Elmore, because that man has played all over the field. He's been fullback. He's been tight end. I think he's been on the D-line at times. He is an offensive guard right now. And anybody wants to rip that man is running through a wall doing whatever he can for Dino Babers. You did it when you were at Syracuse. So big shout-out to Chris Elmore. I love that they call him the Rhino. And listen, he's not tall. Everything that he can affect in his life, he's affecting. I think in a positive way. He's always been good to me. But you can't help your height, and I'm 5'8", so I say run it, buddy. And I'm loving the Rhino forever. So I'm going to say Rhino, and I'm going to say my man Aaron Service from up in Wisconsin, because he has played left tackle, he has played center. He was the only player I've ever seen in Syracuse that I voted in the ACC poll where you could vote for him at 2 positions. So I'm a huge fan of Aaron Service. I think he's a great leader. I really love how honest and open he's been with me. I respect him. I'm going to hire him as my bodyguard at some point in my life. So I'm going to say Elmore and Service, but Lord knows that if Dino wants to rally for Andre Sisco, I'll make that happen too.
Sounds good. Next question will be, what is... what's your favorite time of the year?
Oh, wow. What is my favorite time of the year? Well, I love summer, but the reality of it all is I love Disney. And it's pretty much always warm in Disney unless you go to Disney in January, which is a horrible time to go there for vacation. Don't ever go to Disney in January, unless you want to ride all the rides and get rained on. I mean, it is cold there. So I would say that I would probably pick the heat, but I'm really just picking Florida. So my favorite time of year, honestly, in a place where we get 4 seasons in Syracuse, would have to be right now, in the fall. I'm a fall baby. I was born 10 days before Halloween, so I'm an October 21st baby, and I love pumpkins. I love, all my festive candles in the house, and so I would have to say I'm all about it, because if you look at the stuff that I buy, and like my favorite color is green and orange and whatnot, so if you kind of look at my life, it's all about the fall. And my favorite, I said this yesterday to two of my buddies, my favorite thing to wear is a hoodie and shorts, because it means it's warm enough, but it's not it's not like freezing cold, but it's not too hot. And being able to get my walk in yesterday wearing a hoodie and shorts was like that's perfection. You open the fan, you open the window, you got that cool breeze coming through on its own that you don't have to pay for. So I would have to tell you the fall is probably my favorite.
I like that. All right, now last question I would say is, once all this coronavirus stuff calms down, where in the world would you want to travel to, and why?
I'm getting off this planet. I'm finding another planet that I can inhabit. So I'm hoping that there's life there. I'm hoping that those women are kind, and I'm probably going to live over there. I got asked by my guy Lou Alexander yesterday how the women are treating me in single life in Syracuse, and I said, bro, I'm going to come visit you in California. That was my answer. But I would have to tell you that where would I go? Pardon me. I want to go to see my family in Italy. I would like to go to Spain. I would like to also go to, now that we found out that we have some family that kind of, went back and forth between Italy and Africa. I'd love to see if I have family still in Africa. I know I have family in Spain, and I'm pretty confident I have family in Italy. So I would love to go visit my family and at least see the roots and where we started. That's first. I want to go to Hawaii just because I do. And Syracuse recruited a bunch of players from there, and I talked to them during their recruitment before they committed, and I'm really excited to say a couple of them are coming here. So I think we're doing an exchange program that when they come to Syracuse, I get to go live in Hawaii for them. So that's cool. And an honest answer that you're going to laugh at is the first place that I'm going to go to. And Governor Cuomo, if you're listening, please hear me and hear me clearly.
I'll make sure he hears you.
Everything is open in New York except for movie theaters. They are stationary seats. You're supposed to clean them, which we know that probably nobody was. But the seats are clean. They don't move. You can space people out, or you can go to a movie on a Monday at 2 p.m. when there's nobody there. But open the theaters and do it before Black Widow comes out on November 6th. Cuomo, I appreciate and I applaud you keeping us safe. Now let me see my dang movie. So if you want to know where I'm going first, Tyrone, before I go around the world and eventually find a woman on another planet, I would very much love to go to the theater that is 15 minutes from my house.
I respect that.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, what is happening? Like, why is it closed?
Hey.
You know what I mean? And Democrat or Republican, nobody can give me an answer. What'd you say?
Hey, you can watch movies from the comfort of your couch.
Yeah, but you know what I will not do, and I love Disney? I will not pay $30 on top of my Disney Plus subscription to watch a movie that's early. Because my favorite part of the Mulan movie, my buddy bought it, and so he goes, you can watch it. I said, great, I'm not spending $30 on it. My favorite part of the movie was the first 5 minutes when the young version of Mulan chased a chicken on a rooftop. That was my favorite part. After that, the movie went straight downhill. Just like an avalanche, just right downhill. So I can honestly tell you I'm not paying $30 extra for that. And yeah, so I just want to go to the movies, man. It's a thing for me. It's something I love. So, yeah, it is the simple things. I'm not a guy that goes out and gets drunk. I've never been involved with drugs. I don't smoke. That's not my life. So I don't do donuts in the parking lot. I just want to go to the movies. I want to go to the movies, and I want to smuggle in my candy and my drinks because I'm always really proud of myself when I can sneak things into the theater because I wear that giant trench coat when it's 97 degrees outside and nobody asks questions. But, I just want to go to the movies, have my candy and my drinks, and when they come up and they go, would you like something? I go, just a water, please. So that's what I want. That's what I want. So, 34 years of sneaking stuff in, and yeah, I did it as a baby. I'm pretty confident I did. So, with that being said, Tyrone Perkins here on the broadcast. Tyrone, there's so much we could talk about. I know it's been a minute since I got you on the show, but, you got my number, I got yours. Let's get you back on here. And let's laugh some more. Let's have some more purposeful conversation, and let's try and make this world a better place, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, Dan.
All right, man, and my best to you. And listen, thank you so much for everything that you did to get through that adversity. The fact that you're standing here today smiling and talking with me shows a lot about the content of your character and the person that you are. So just know that if nobody told you this today, I'm proud of you, I'm happy for you, and you are a beacon of hope for a lot of people out there.
Thank you, man.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Take care. That coming from Tyrone Perkins once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We just had a morning already. So, and guess what? We didn't even get started. Because if you like my opinions and you like my way of attacking life and making you laugh, whether your boss is looking at you, you got the bud in your ear and you're trying to hide your AirPods and the bud's like, and your boss is like, why are you laughing in the corner right now? Are you on drugs? You know what I mean? It's like, are you doing some bath salts? And it's like, no, I'm listening to Dan. Can y'all shut up? Because I'm trying to not work here. So whatever you're doing, wherever you are, if you're with your kids, if you're at home working with your kids, my prayers to you. But wherever you are and whatever you're doing, Fran and I are happy that we're not parents right now. So for all the parents out there that are out absolutely doing a fantastic job, my shout out to you. To the parents that have a glass of wine saying it's 5 o'clock somewhere, I understand, but just make sure that you make sure that kid learns today. But be safe, be well. We will be back right after this fast break where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have barely gotten started because this wonderful human being has committed to one of the greatest Division I women's lacrosse teams in the nation, and I have the opportunity of being the first one to speak with her on this great moment. And we're also going to talk about a lot of stuff here. Right before we go to take a fast break, though, do you watch the NFL? No. Franny doesn't watch the NFL. So Franny, Johnny didn't, to Johnny out there, Franny didn't see the debacle of Detroit. So Detroit was up 23-6. I chose them to win. But Detroit being Detroit, for the Lions, not the city. Don't come at me, Detroit. I love you, okay? I appreciate you. I've been to Detroit. I will never go back to Detroit during St. Patrick's Day for the rest of my life. I didn't do it on purpose. I was there for the NCAA tournament. Syracuse was playing. I just so happened to be there for St. Patrick's Day. And my driver that was there, my Uber driver, he was like, bro, why are you coming outside today? And he was right. Like, if you looked outside, the people that were, walking drunk, it looked like The Walking Dead. Because these people, they couldn't stand. This one guy, one of the greatest things in the world that made me feel better after a guy threatened to, he mumbled that he wanted to fight me because I was walking on the sidewalk, and so was he. So through all of that, I went out the first time I got Wahlburgers. Everything was fine. I decided to go out a couple hours later because I wanted ice cream. Everything was not fine. And then what made my night after I was woken up by a guy with a giant gong outside at 9 a.m. After that, and after having a guy walk toward me and be like, yeah, I told you to get off the, and then said an expletive, get off the sidewalk, bro. And I was like, this is not your sidewalk. And then there was a girl that was drunk and she almost, so after I saw The Walking Dead, there was a guy that made my day in Detroit. He was having a dance-off with himself. And he was in a mirror. Here, he was in the window of an establishment that was no longer there. And this man was killing it. His moves were fantastic. But the guy, he would just kind of, and then go. And then the guy in the mirror would give his thing, and he was trying to figure out, why is this guy as good as me? How's this guy killing it like I'm killing it? And so that made my night after I thought and called my mom and said, I feel like I almost died in Detroit, but then I saw this guy breakdancing and everything was okay. And then I got in the elevator. Actually, I got in the elevator that night, and I was doing laundry, and I get in the elevator with two drunk guys, and I push the button, and this one guy's just kind of like almost falling asleep. The other guy's just kind of staring forward like he knows his friend's going to be a jerk right now. And I hit a button, and he goes, I hit the button for my floor, and he goes, "You are something else." And I was like, what? He goes, "Of course you would." And then I get off the elevator, and he's looking at me like he wants to fight me because I had to get off on the third floor. He was like, you are you are something else. And I was like, I went into my room, I locked my door, I prayed, I watched the man break dance, and I had a good night. So, to continue with Detroit, Johnny is not happy with his Lions losing. He said, "I couldn't handle anything yesterday. I was so upset about Sunday's pathetic loss, the 11th blown fourth quarter lead in Matt Patricia's tenure." And here's the thing, in his tenure, I think. So Matt Patricia, this is his third season. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he's losing games with a defense. So he said, "Get this guy out of here. He's another one of Papa Belichick's cronies who likes to play pretend. Wake up, man. This is the big boy league. Rant over. Thank you." Then he said, "I'm sorry, but I'm not done." Matt Patricia and his fat buddy Bobby Q, these are Johnny's words, not mine, have done everything that they could possibly to drive a stake into the heart of these fans of Detroit that know no better but to keep losing. They're literally sucking the money out of the Ford family. The family does not see that they have absolutely no clue as to what's going on. And, yeah. So Johnny was clear on how he felt. And all I can say is, Johnny, if you see a man breakdancing in a window in Detroit, it makes a lot of things feel better. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this on Wake Up Call with Franny.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new